there were going to be at this point as well. So perhaps that could be a trade-up candidate.
It's interesting to me because you never go in and like, we're going to draft a receiver. But if any team was going to do that, it felt like Buffalo.
Well,
in this
particularly
draft.
because they're one of those teams that has 10 draft picks already, and a glaring need at wide receiver, hoping that somebody would be there at 28. They have receivers at 28, and they're still choosing to pick up extra draft picks to move down a few spots.
I wonder if they're going to get a pick swap here. I wonder if they're going to try to, move back just a little bit. But Buffalo doesn't have a third-round pick right now. They have 2 fourth-round picks, 3 fifth-round picks, 2 sixth-round picks, and a 7th. I wonder if they're going to try to.
The Chiefs are trading up.
Wow.
Uh-oh, here we go.
For a tackle? Oh, I wonder.
So this could be for the last tackle,
or receiver,
or they value one of the receivers.
Oh.
By the way, Buffalo taking a trade.
This could be corner too with
Buffalo taking a trade with the Chiefs also.
Yeah.
If Buffalo's the reason why A.D. Mitchell goes to Kansas City.
Last time this happened, Mahomes happened.
Yeah.
Wait, Buffalo traded?
They traded from 27 to 10.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be that ready to pick up the phone if Kansas City was calling me and I'm Buffalo.
Oh, no,
and Buffalo got Tre'Davious White. That was one of those, like, on paper.
I think they're going to take a tackle, though. That's my guess. Over receiver.
I'm guessing it's more for a tackle because of the run.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is interesting when it's not a division rival, but it's clearly your
right. I mean, either way,
hurdle.
one of your principal rivals in the AFC, you're allowing them.
Like that.
You're enabling them get better
I'd
somewhere.
rather trade with an in-division team.
I mean, this could be a corner too, right?
Sure.
With L'Jarius Sneed moving on.
They lose L'Jarius. I think they'll ask more of Trent McDuffie, right? I think that Trent McDuffie took a big step forward this year, and I think that he is somebody who they can have a lot of faith in there. But maybe it's corner as well. I still do. I think it's offensive tackle. I wonder if it's Guyton.
So last year they had Wanye Morris in the 3rd round, developmental Oklahoma tackle.
Right.
They signed Donovan Smith as like their stopgap for the year. Donovan Smith's not there, so Wanye is currently listed as the starting left tackle. Jawan Taylor is the starting right tackle. So they need a left tackle. All last season we felt like they needed receivers just because the offense was struggling, and then they just decided to be awesome during the playoff run. So they still probably need receivers. And then after trading L'Jarius Sneed this offseason, it's Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams. With Trent McDuffie, who played in the slot, could play outside. So could use help at any of those particular positions. And there are players on the board.
I feel like no matter what, we're going to look at this pick and we're just going to be like, the Chiefs. Again, there it is. They're just drafting a really damn good football player. But I feel like that's just what has happened here.
I mean, I'm fascinated that Buffalo was willing to deal with Kansas City, given just the way they must see the Chiefs right now.
I completely agree with you. The Chiefs do end up taking a wide receiver. And it is Xavier Worthy.
Wow.
Worthy gets into the 1st round, and he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. That is something, man.
So I would now be absolutely petrified if I was Buffalo.
I cannot believe they just did this.
Xavier Worthy is more than just 4.21, right? That's what he's being known as right now. The fastest guy ever to run at the combine. The new record holder. He is so much more than that when you watch his tape. He's actually got route running chops and the ability to separate beyond just running past people. He's stronger than he looks. Like one of the biggest concerning things, he weighed like 165 pounds at the combine to run the 4.21. But he'll attack weak shoulders and try and run his way through defenders and get a couple of yards at the end of it as well. He is really good. I felt a little bit like there was some Jordan Addison to his tape as well, except 0.4 of a second faster in the 40. I would be terrified of what the Buffalo Bills just allowed Kansas City to do.
Man. You know who ranked last year 20-plus yard throws? Do you know who ranked 38th in the NFL among quarterbacks in passer rating?
Is it Patrick Mahomes?
It was Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was 38th on 20-plus yard throws. Now, we know that the offense has evolved in Kansas City the last couple of years, throwing the ball underneath.
I can't believe
and they've won 2 Super Bowls while doing it.
I cannot believe they just did that.
But now they add more versatility.
How do you trade out to give Mahomes Xavier Worthy? How do you do that?
When you need a receiver.
So
this offseason, they've now added Xavier Worthy and Marquise Brown. And, Rashee Rice dealing with whatever, his legal trouble is going to be. But that 1-2 punch of the deep threat, it does look like Kansas City's downfield game should be getting better.
They got a pick swap out of it. They didn't even, rob them in the trade.
Oh, did you see the trade details?
Yes.
What's the trade details?
Okay,
So the Bills got the third rounder they wanted.
Yes.
The Bills
in order to get it, they had to give up.
got 32, but they also got a third rounder and a seventh round pick.
But in order to get it, they had to give up their fourth rounder.
Right, but they are still. I mean, they're jumping 40 spots.
Right,
from the
But they're
fourth
going
round.
to get a receiver. They obviously had no interest in Xavier Worthy. I'm sure they had to tell him who it was. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't have wanted Xavier Worthy either in this spot.
That's the most interesting thing to me is Buffalo, with a massive wide receiver need, has their choice of wide receiver 5. We've all said there's probably 10 guys. We wouldn't be surprised if we heard their name. Buffalo had none of them in a clear spot better than the other, and the Chiefs did. They said, we do. We have Xavier Worthy in a clear spot above everyone else. We're going to go get him.
Yeah, but for a trade that essentially projects as a coin flip most of the time, letting the powerhouse AFC team that you can't get past do what they want, for that is a hell of a gamble.
Yeah.
Unless you really didn't like him at receiver and you're like, oh, you want to trade up to get him? Okay, we can cover that. And we think he's a one-dimensional deep threat.
I guess, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
But
you just don't know.
But that, like,
You don't know who
have
they're
to.
taking, though, obviously.
You would say, I would imagine they're not doing the deal unless you say, who is it? I mean, they might, wouldn't you think? Like, if you're Kansas City and you're picking up
that's
the phone.
how it works. I don't think you're
It
really.
depends who it is, I think. Some teams don't care.
You're taking a
Wouldn't care.
calculated risk. There's a,
But if you're
I think there's a
Buffalo-
lot of good information around the league.
If you're Buffalo with a need at wide receiver and Kansas City of all teams phones you up saying, hey, here's the trade offer we're giving you, I would certainly be asking who they want.
Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating that it's between the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just for, if it was for tackle 8 off the board, I'd be like, yeah, they needed to fill the tackle spot. But Kansas City's being aggressive here, saying let's put points on the board again.
Do you wonder if, because I don't know if those conversations happen, right? I don't know if you're allowed to be like, all right, who are you taking?
I mean, you're allowed to do whatever you
No,
want.
no,
Whether they'll tell you or not.
obviously,
Yeah.
right, but I'm saying, like, I don't think they're going to tell them
Right.
what it is. Like, okay, do you want the deal or not? I wonder if the Bills are like, okay, they've really wanted to upgrade an offensive tackle. We don't really care if they take a tackle because we want a receiver.
Maybe.
And they come up for a
but
receiver
equally,
anyways.
if Buffalo says we're not doing the deal unless you tell us who it is.
But
it
don't
could
they have
easily-
Hollywood Brown too? Didn't they sign?
They do.
him?
They
Yeah.
do. I mean, they just.
Again,
I
30,
mean, to be fair,
they said we're going to improve throwing the ball down the field.
Right.
Beyond 20 yards.
No matter what.
Get the deep ball back with Marquise Brown and now Xavier Worthy.
Yep. Man.
Wow.